I mean, it's nice. It's a decent area. M41.
Is it M41?
Yeah, I think it's M41. Yeah, definitely. Urmston, Davium, and Flixton are M41. I'm 100%.
I actually don't believe you.
Well, check it, because I grew up in Urmston.
Right,
well,
right.
Partington. I went to school in Urmston. I went to primary school in Davium. Don't test me on M41, right? I am. Right, thank you. Yeah, that's the closest I'm going to get to him going, you're right. Him just going, anyway.
No, M41 8RP.
See? I know my my Flixton / Urmston / Davium. Jamie Jackson's here. How are you, Jamie? All right?
I'm very good, thank you. How are you two?
Do you know much about Flixton?
Not
That's why
much.
we've got you here to ask you.
Only that it's near, as we just established, United.
Not far from Carrington.
Yeah, not that far from Carrington.
Big building project going on in Carrington. Do you know all that wasteland all where the gasworks was?
Yes.
6,500 homes. Basically building like a new town there.
Really?
Wow.
Because have you ever been from Carrington through left going towards Partington?
Over there.
I don't know why I'm doing that. That's not helpful.
At the bottom of
more in that corner.
yeah,
the bottom of the main, when you come down. No,
yeah, when you go down
a little bit. Yeah, I have
yeah.
actually. Yeah.
Because there's so much land there. It's like an industrial town.
Right.
Yeah, basically from City's old gaff, which I think was Stockport's for a minute.
It's
then
now Sale Sharks. Yeah, past it today. Yeah.
So from there, basically, that left-hand side is just former chemical works and all sorts of stuff.
All around it, both sides of the training ground, there's just land.
Basically, I don't know how many thousand acres, but it's basically going to be a new town.
Because United don't actually own the road up to the training ground, do they?
Do they not?
No, I think they do.
Do they? Well,
that's why it's a private road.
But members of the public, you know what I mean? You'd think they'd stop and walk, like fans and all that.
I think there's right to roam in England,
right.
There was rumours that Sir Jim Ratcliffe owned it, wasn't there?
Don't he own the land under
the land underneath for fracking purposes?
I'm not. Is that wide enough? Is that true?
No, it was true. Right, well, I don't know. You know more than we do. But there's stories that he'd purchased all this fracking land, and part of it was Carrington.
Right.
So
okay.
if you wanted to go full turbo pro Qatar anti Ratcliffe conspiracy theory,
I see.
The full proper hardcore conspiracy theory was
he only wants us because he's got. But he already owns it.
yeah.
But he's got it already. So it doesn't make sense.
He's going to demolish Carrington and just do fracking and just get rid of the club.
He's going to spend $1.5 billion to do what he's already owning. Make it make sense.
Don't let facts get in the way of a good conspiracy theory, Steve. Come on, you're better than that. So I'm going to Carrington. Have you been down there today?
I have indeed.
How was Mr. Eric Ten Hag?
Yeah, he's Mr. Eric Ten Hag as he always is. He was obviously, you can guess what the main topic was. Mr. Onana.
Yes.
Why?
So now you tell me.
Steve isn't having it. Steve's not having the Onana's even really done out wrong.
Jay,
interesting.
I'll give United through the second one in.
Right, okay, you did say that on the Off the Bar podcast.
Outside of that, everyone else can shut up.
Right, so that's it. Just that one. The others, not his fault.
Bayern Munich?
I'm not talking about Bayern Munich. It's fucking weeks
That's
ago.
ancient history.
Copenhagen
let's
away.
Focus on the most recent.
Copenhagen away was the referee. You know that, and I know that.
Yeah.
VAR. Mugged us again.
So there's just the one thing.
Okay, so here's a question. At what point would you say is a liability? Seriously, what does he have to do for you to think, you know what, actually?
It'd have to be a liability, Jamie, for starters.
Yeah, so what are you going to define that? If you lose 10-0 because of him?
He's the best goalkeeper in the Premier League right now. So if he was simultaneously the worst goalkeeper in the Champions League...
What are you basing that on, Premier League?
Well, everything. Every metric you want to measure a goalkeeper.
Give me one then.
So clean sheets.
Right.
He's top of.
Right.
With a cardboard defence in front of him.
Right.
He is top of the save percentage.
Right.
78.8% level with Alisson.
Okay.
He has saved the most shots. He's also got the highest XG prevented. So what other metric do you want to measure a goalkeeper?
So what you basically say there is what Eric said this afternoon. You know that, but he did concede that the Champions League's not been great.
Yeah, Champions League's not been great.
Yeah.
Eric conceded a little bit more than Steve's willing to.
I told him I was available for hire, sit at the back.
But you know what? It's interesting you say that because that is a little bit like United's record in the Premier League. Until it was highlighted, it's actually excellent recently. It was like this thing, this narrative that absolute disaster.
It was because of all the Champions League
exactly,
in between.
and getting knocked out of the Carabao Cup as well, obviously, which is,
which doesn't appear on your Premier League form record, which we were somehow top of.
It kind of caught everyone a bit unawares, didn't it? The Premier League form.
Yeah.
Everyone's like, United are most informed team, and like, what?
No, exactly.
No, we're not. And we're like, well, we are.
But why do I feel depressed?
Yeah.
Eric's up for manager of the month, isn't he?
Yeah.
And Harry for player of the month.
Well, even like Maguire, if you look at it, he's the only one nominated who won all these games in November.
Really?
Yeah. And he got nothing but clean sheets.
Wouldn't it be great if he won it after what's happened to him? Wouldn't it be great if he actually won
It'd
that?
be an interesting story.
Yeah.
Because people here's the thing. If United had won that game, no one would be talking about Onana the way they are doing at the moment, right? And if Harry Maguire wins that, people will literally change their story because they can't look at the data and analysis. Like I said on here, and a lot of people have got umbrage with what I said, but I actually think Maguire's mistake, which didn't result in a goal, was worse than Onana's save.
Yeah.
Or non-save where he threw it in the net.
Yeah.
Where Maguire's passed it back to him without checking and we've been pressed. I think that's a worse mistake. And it's only saved by the fact that Onana clears it. When you look at what happened with Onana throwing it in, Anthony Martial can head that away. He heads that away. Not a problem.
You could also say Bruno shouldn't either have to run all that way back, where's the midfield, to make the foul, or shouldn't make the foul. But I don't really blame Bruno at all, don't get me wrong.
So there's like 3 factors in the way here that couldn't prevent that goal.
But for me, the bottom line is he has to save that first one as well. I'm sorry, he has to.
The first one?
Yeah, the Ziyech free kick for me.
I think that, well, for starters, the referee's not applied the rules correctly, which the rules I only found out after the game, which I'm now demanding are applied in retrospect. But also that I think he's gambled to go behind the wall. He's caught it halfway coming through and then looks stupid. The wall's got to do its job. And people go, well, he sets the wall up. Okay, well, does that resolve them of all responsibility to do their fucking job in the middle of it?
You know what? It's good to see you giving such a valiant defence of your goalkeeper, like a true fan.
If only our defence defended him as well. Hey?
Was Eric Ten Hag's vocal as passionate in his defence?
He was just, he's always quite calm, as he doesn't really get, in terms of raising his voice, cheesed off or anything. So no, he was just his normal sort of, there's a couple of like, it depends who it is sometimes who asks the question. I think there might be a little bit of a sort of like scoff or Pep Guardiola's like that when you got to sit
with every question.
Well, not with every question, but certain journalists he seems to, how can I say, wonder about their questions more than But what I'm saying is the same question asked by someone else, he probably wouldn't. Both of them probably wouldn't react that way with a scoff.
I've got that Gordon Ramsay meme in my head. Oh, beautiful.
Yeah.
Donkey.
It's like that with most managers I find. It's like, you just
Who's his favourite? Who's the one that he's like going to flutter his eyelids
This is Eric?
Yeah.
Well...
you? You don't have to be modest on this podcast.
No, I was actually going to go the opposite way.
We're pretty good friends.
Word has got back to me that I asked the most awkward questions.
Right. Really?
Yeah. But I tell you what, the other day, before the pre-Galatasaray presser, which was done at Carrington, apparently Bruno Fernandes found my garb, which was... I just sat there in full scarf and hat and sunglasses, which actually prescription, but asking a question because I was so cold. Apparently found it hilarious that I was dressed.
Someone's already commented about your attire, saying, so I've lost it, but it basically saying, oh, wait a minute, Miles says, I see a Hawaiian shirt, but I don't see the shades, Mr. Jackson.
They are...
Come on,
in my coat
Mr. Paradise, Johnson says, in the house. Well, I feel like we're getting shortchanged. We spoke about this last time you were on, Jamie. You came here looking a little bit sensible.
Still surviving, though.
Do you know what I mean? You should know by now on the Brew, we don't like sensibleness. Do you think he's feeling pretty positive, Eric, because he's had a lot of grief.
I think he is, because
he's got the best player in the world in midfield.
Yeah, Mainoo, yeah.
It's not even a debate, is it? He just is.
No, I think he is, because I think he... the Premier League's going well.
Yeah.
I mean, it is recently. I'm not saying it's an amazing team or anything like that, but, there's 6 points off the top through being absolutely, let's say, average. So if you get better, that shows how good you are, right? If you're 6 points off the top being average.
It's funny because me and you were talking about this the other day, like, you see it, and it's how the perception or the narrative amongst certain pundits and the media or whatever talks. Okay. And it's like, Arsenal grinding out results. Looking at, I tell you what, that's a sign of a good team. If you can play badly and you can get a result. United, literally the same thing. Awful.
Yeah,
awful.
I don't know whether
getting away with it. Ten Hag out.
I don't know whether you two care about this, but that's probably because United is so massive that it's almost like, it's part of your status. So if you weren't so big,
Now I get
because you're the focal point.
Absolutely get some on tits.
Yeah. I get that, but it's actually a product because of how big you are, right? So what I'm saying is, it's
why
they don't do it about Arsenal, because it's like Arsenal.
Yeah, I think there's an element as well.
We win 3-0 the other day. And you can literally see the production meeting at TalkSport. How are we going to criticise United today? And it's like, let's dig out Bruno and let's pretend that overhead kicks are a bit lucky. Like,
did they say that? Did they?
Yeah.
Yes, they did.
It's a great kick.
When they say they, listen, I'm going to do my usual disclaimer. When he was at United, I loved him, but since he left United, Paulin's just done nothing but disappoint me. And he just was speaking nonsense. It was like, a bit lucky.
Even our biggest legends, right? Rio aside, because he gets way too giddy, and he's just a fan, right? He literally
did on the commentary the other night, didn't he?
Yeah, he's just a fan, right? And I kind of like that about him. But Scholes is grumpy. Roy Keane's grumpy. Gary Neville does everything he can to play down himself. You think, what Manchester United representation do we have in the media that's actually pro-United? You only have Rio, and he just goes 0 to giddy instantly, right? We don't have any sort of like mildly pro-happy United. None. It's all hammer United. And that's even our legends hammer United. Like, Gary Neville's so neutral, he's anti-United.
Yeah.
Like, Roy Keane's so grumpy and upset, and his standards are so high, he's anti-United.
Yeah. Yeah. It's like, yeah.
I noticed on the commentary for the game the other night that Scholes a couple of times, it wasn't like he was explicitly criticising Bruno, but there's a couple of, I thought, little, like, he can't help himself. And I don't know, is he a bit sort of jealous, maybe?
I don't think he's jealous. I just feel like maybe there's a touch of the Roy Keane's about him. Like, his standards are so high that it's like, well, this guy's, everyone's raving about.
He's dry. He's from Oldham.
Yeah.
Like, his whole thing is like downplay and
I just feel he's a bit like, what, really? United 6? Who cares? Do you know what I mean?
Well, and you can understand it because he's come from that Ferguson team,
I think if you look at, say, like Liverpool, I'm not going to praise them, but all their ex-players, like, they circle the wagons, they get behind that team, they celebrate like.
I hear what you're saying.
It's like
they're not neutral. Are they?
No,
they're not even.
And they wear that as a badge of honour. It's like, I'm an ex-Liverpool player. Yes, Mo Salah, you dancer and all that other nonsense, and it's like, this means more and all the rest of it, and they'll defend him and they'll stick up for him and they'll praise him, and it's like, Klopp's a genius.
So why do you think that lot you just mentioned? Is it because of what you just said? The standards are so high, and they're looking at this team and thinking, you know what I mean?
I think there's an element of that. I think there's an element with a lot of the media where negativity towards United is just, it seems to sell. I'm not saying all these ex-players are going, well, what's going to get the most clicks or whatever, but there is almost like an atmosphere around it, in there, where it's like, if you criticise United, you're going to get a lot of engagement. You're going to get a lot of people who want to watch that. You're going to get a lot of people interested.
Here's one for you, right? This whole thing about, and I agree, I'm the opposite to this, the whole thing that Fernandes is too petulant. Roy Keane was petulant, but because it was an amazing team, you know what I mean? It came out as a different thing, like just sort of sticking up for his teammate. You know what I mean?
Roy Keane, I think to British people, Roy Keane's is considered like a manly petulance, like he would kick people or elbow someone or tell them to fuck off or stamp on them. But there is that's the only way I can describe it.
Petulance, you just stamp on your chest.
But it was reactionary, and it was driven by a desire to win that occasionally boiled over. And Bruno Fernandes he comes from a different culture where maybe, like, pretty much every Portuguese player I've seen has had that trait in them. So is that just like a Portuguese trait where they are a bit more expressive with the way their face and their hands, and rather than like a snide kick, he's going to give it one of them? And I don't know enough about them I think that to British culture, Irishman Roy Keane aligns very much with a lot of Britishness, and that was how we like it.
If Keane was in this present United team, right, you'd probably be a lot better. How good he is. But
I give him a week.
But maybe he would be perceived differently. Maybe he'd be perceived as a sort of out of control, angry captain of a team.
Was he that at Forest though?
No.
Player of the year, wasn't he?
Yeah, he was.
Well, he was
they got relegated,
but
he was like the shining star.
To
break the British transfer record of a team that's just
I just think it's to do with the team. Fernandes is.
I think you're right, because I think you look at Bernardo Silva, right, and there's a lot of, I'm not just saying because he's Portuguese, but there's a lot of similar traits there. Argues, bit moody, like opposition fans hate him. Just petty as well, like he wouldn't do the guard of honour and all that. Just
well, so's Kevin De Bruyne.
Do you know what I mean?
Don't come up because you just talk about how fucking good he is.
Yeah, but because they're winning, people don't go get rid of Bernardo Silva. What a whopper. Everyone's like, oh yeah, you need a bit of that in your team. But with Bruno, and I don't mind that. I think sometimes it can overspill, and he can try a bit too much when he's trying 50-yard shots and he's trying to take everyone on or whatever, or a 100-yard pass. But You
But
want
does
a
he
bit of
really
that.
try and take up lots of players on all time?
Not take him on, but he tries shooting from silly ranges when we're losing or when he's. Do you know what I mean? He can try and do a little bit too much.
Yeah.
Where you think it's not all on you.
Yeah.
And I know that might sound like a bit of a contradiction.
That sounds very wise to me.
But
Very wise
that's not
man.
one. You know, it's what happens with age. But I do feel like if we had a little bit more of what Bruno's got in some other players, that'd be beneficial. Because I think this has been a criticism since Alex
not edgy enough, is it?
I think there's too many players.
What do you want, more like Bruno or more like Sancho?
Yeah. Oh God. Yeah. It's like I think some players in United post Fergie have. I don't think they don't want to win. I just don't think they hate losing enough. And I think there's been that attitude sometimes. Not everyone, but it's like we lost.
But going back to Fernandes, that's kind of what I think it is. All this what's called petulance, just him. He's really cheesed off because. It's difficult.
He's a fucking winner.
And he doesn't want to lose, sort of thing.
And you think about how good he is, his numbers, what the performance he's put in. He's been at United for what? 4 years?
Didn't Paul Scholes refuse to come on in a match?
Yeah, he refused to play in a game. It was a Milk Cup game.
Yeah, he said Milk Cup. I was going to. I want to give you Rumbelows, but Milk Cup.
Yeah, it was probably,
Maybe it wasn't the sponsor.
Probably Worthington.
Yeah, the Milk Cup.
It's probably about 8 sponsors.
Scholes was playing when he was 3.
He was that good, right?
It's like having Webby back on. I feel like with Bruno as well, it's got to be a little bit annoying. It's almost like the Van Nistelrooy thing of like, you're at United for years, and like Rude, he should have won a Champions League. He was at United and Real Madrid for like 10 years, and somehow managed to just miss out.
Yeah. Rude was petulant. Oh my!
Do you know what I mean?
God, would he see his ass with stuff, especially with young Ronaldo.
Well, that was the end of him, wasn't it? But I feel like with Bruno, he's got to be a bit annoyed because it's like he's been mint. He's scored all these goals, all these assists. He's been at United for years, and he's got a Carabao Cup to show for it.
And he absolutely destroyed Cantona's goals and assists.
Yeah.
In very similar.
He's a really good player. So again, it goes back to this general thing about negativity towards United. It's because of that. Yeah. Don't make it right.
Do you feel that? And I'm not asking you to throw anyone under the bus, but do you feel that with your colleagues? Do you feel like that is a trait that your colleagues? Because I've heard Martin Samuel or someone saying, I know he's not in the press conferences, but. If you stick United in the headline, if you say something about United, if you shoehorn United in, you're going to get clicks.
Well, that's definitely true, what you just said then. I mean, in terms of my immediate colleagues, most of them are United fans.
Really?
Yeah, most of them. most of the lads.
Following United,
do my job for some of the papers, so.
Yeah, you're a rare one, aren't you?
What?
You're Forest, aren't you?
Well, I'm lapsed Forest, I always say. I look for the results.
Taylor, Forest as well.
He's a bit more Forest. I think he's more proper Forest. But that's the team I liked when I was a kid. But my Sonny is a United fan. He's 12, so I'll be watching the game tomorrow with him.
Oh my God!
You know what I mean?
So, do you know what? My daughter.
What's the NSPCC number?
I know. I feel for him.
Right, he was for the first time the other week.
So seen fuck all.
No, he's not. Unless he remembers the title when he was 2.
No,
he's not seen anything, and I feel your pain.
For the first time the other day, he was in tears. He was in tears the other day. He was actually crying the other day. I don't know what game it was. It was one of those ones where you're up, and then it was just like so because he's getting it from his mates all the time, as you can imagine.
Yeah, my lads the same. My lads. I was worried, right, because my lads, he's 8, and I was worried because a lot of his mates have started to support City. They're not that loyal. I'm thinking, if he keeps, he's got FIFA and Ireland, keeps scoring maybe, but he's gone the other way. Like, if you ever see City hates him, Ireland's just a tapping merchant. He's rubbish.
That's
overrated,
good.
And I'm like, yeah, he is.
This is how much Sonny, my son, loves United. When he was only about 3, that's really small. We went out for a meal in a local Italian in Hazel Grove, and the owner of this Italian was a City fan, and he offered him 2 or 3 lollipops. This is a joke to say he would support City.
No comment.
Yeah.
If you say you will support City, you'll support City. I'll give it, and he refused at 3.
Brilliant.
I mean,
that's what you want.
I don't know where he's got that from. Father Christmas tried to get him a Nottingham Forest kit when he was 2. He wouldn't wear it.
Really?
He wouldn't.
That's like I went that with all my lot. Got him United kits. Not from the club, obviously. Hashtag Liz that. And instilled in him. Took him to games. We took him. He got a bit of a touch actually the other week. My kid, my lad. We got invited to Carrington. He met Garnacho.
Nice.
From Palestra. So you can imagine he was berserk when Garnacho scored that goal. He's not shut up about it since. So yeah, he's proper United. But I do worry, and I feel sorry for kids that are age. Because how old are you when we first won the most important trophy ever?
Cup Cup.
Yes.
7.
So perfect. Well,
that's it. So we won the FA Cup, but I didn't see that.
That's my first trophy. I remember.
My first trophy was Cup Winners' Cup. So
the Rotterdam.
Yeah.
Final,
greatest achievement in the history of association football.
Never been matched.
And from then, it was just kind of like, well, then we won the league. Well, sorry. Then we won the League Cup, which was massive at the time.
Yeah.
Then we win the league, and then we win a double, and it just rolled through, just winning shit.
Perfect age as well, isn't it? Because you're
To be an adult.
The reason I
your
support
teenage
Forest
years
is
and
because
you
they were
started
good when I
going
was
to
8. I'm not from there, I'm from London, but that's why I support.
Right.
So, I mean, I know you're from here, but what I'm saying is that winning thing.
Oh, it does matter. It's like we had Ash on a pod, or me and Ash did our pod yesterday, and obviously he's from Wolverhampton, lived in Swansea for a long time, and now lives by choice in Manchester. And we had a pretty honest conversation about it. He's like, everybody I meet's a United fan. He goes, that whole everyone from Manchester supports City. He goes, it's just bollocks. He goes, I don't see any City fans ever.
Right,
and so I was trying to get out of him, what do you reckon it is? Because I think it's like 8-9 to 1. Genuinely, I think there's about 8 or 9 to 1 City to United City.
Right, okay.
In the City, he went, but the kids, all the kids at football, they are all in City kids.
That's true. But I'd take my lad football, and you see, it's weird, you see a
Little
lot of
fucking part-timers.
You see a lot of PSG, Real Madrid, because he's in Salford, a lot of United, as you'd expect, but there are a few City. Do you know what I mean? Which is worrying. Yeah. But that'll all change when they get relegated to the Unibond, when them 115 charges kick in. Teeman says in the super chat, for the fans saying bring De Gea back, he cost us the FA Cup, let's try back Onana, he's here now. What do you reckon, Jay? Because you've been writing about this. Do you have faith in Onana? Where are you on the spectrum of Stephen Alson, who will not have anything bad said about him whatsoever, and
I think
people that love David De Gea still?
I think it's something to keep an eye on for everyone, but yeah, it's fair enough, the Premier League stuff. He's doing really well. It's just a shame about the Champions League, because you would have been through by now, probably, if not winners, you'd have been through.
It's weird because I get your point, and I think you're probably right, but if he doesn't save that penalty, we'd have been out as well. It's like, it is that weird.
Who's had a worse keeper than us in the Champions League?
Yeah.
City.
Who's that?
Statistically.
Really? Mm-hmm. Right, okay.
City
what have they done in the Champions League as well, eh?
City.
That's cost them.
This year. City.
I know what you mean, but I've been won every game.
City
and 2-0 down the other night.
City and Galatasaray. So City's keepers only save 50%. I think Galatasaray's keepers only save 46%, which means more of the shots at him go in than he saves. That's bonkers.
You're like Dustin Hoffman on Rain Man, you, with these stats. I don't know where you get them from. How the fuck do you know Galatasaray's keepers save percentage?
Jay, I don't just shout nonsense.
I know you don't.
With no backing.
No.
I get the data.
You whisper it as well.
Yeah. He does get. You do get the data.
And tweet it as well.
When you say, I don't want to labour the Onana point. We'll ask you a bit more, and then we'll move on. Okay. But when you say he kept getting asked, what are the questions? What's everyone asking? Because for me, it's like, are you backing your goalkeeper? Yeah, all right. Then that's the end of that.
Just basically.
Or was it that in about 15 different ways?
Yeah, in a nutshell, yeah. I mean, and it was interesting when he came out with the old predicted shots thing, because it's a little bit like we were just discussing. People weren't aware. So, fair play to him. I mean, he's never going to sit there, of course he's not, and sort of say, the lad's awful. Because, I don't think he thinks that. But remember, he signed the lad. So from his point of view, he has to sort of work, or at least give him a proper crack of the whip. I saw it. I know it's only pre-season, but I think it's relatively important now. But the very first game he ever played, which was the one in Las Vegas? I think was it? Yeah, and he came out and he tried this header just in front of the halfway line, and they went down the other end and scored. So and that, as I say, if that had just been that, so what? I just think he's got a mistake in him. But let's wait and see.
Yeah. Listen,
Schmeichel had a mistake in him. Well, one was going to City for starters, but
don't get me started on that. Just finally on Onana. Is there anything in this? He could get a ban for the AFCON. Have you heard this? If you don't go to the AFCON, sorry.
Well, isn't that generally the rule?
Yeah,
if you refuse to be called up, if you're called up by your country and you're fit and you refuse to go, I think you're not allowed to play for your club the next game or something. I think a general rule, nothing to do with AFCON or
Oh right, yeah, sorry.
It's just for everyone. For everyone,
I think people are just reaching.
But is that one of those that you go, well, my ankle hurts?
Yeah, or I've retired from international football. For a month.
For the next month.
Yeah, but genuinely, if you did that, what can people do?
Well, you tell me. That's a very good point. Let Eric know that.
That's the way out of contract for people as well, isn't it? You don't leave a club, but you retire, and it just pauses where it is.
I wanted to ask you something else. Steve spoke about the greatest midfielder, arguably in the history of Manchester United Football Club. He's up there. It's a debate worth having. Kobbie Mainoo. What have you made of him? Because as a fan, we're unashamedly biased, but we're in awe of him. I think he is.
Well, has he made a bad decision yet? 2 questions. 1, has he made a bad decision yet? 2, have you seen him run?
Right, so answer the first one. He's not had much time to make a bad decision. So the answer is no, he hasn't.
Right, we'll say that. Clip that up.
In terms of the running, it's be interesting to see whether he plays him as a 6 or an 8. But I think he, it's very small sample size. We've got to say this because he's only 18, but he looks really good. He looks amazing, to be honest. He looks amazing. I think he'll start tomorrow.
The decision making and composure absolutely blows.
I think he'll start tomorrow. So I have to do like predicted teams. It's not really predicted teams, but who I think will play tomorrow for the Guardian. I put him in. I put him in to start. Yeah, but no, it's not based on any inside info. It's just like
right. You just who you think.
Yeah. So I'd be surprised.
Just stare at people at Carrington and see.
Well,
so he looks back at you.
Yeah, I'm gonna this team sheet. I'm gonna run my finger by it. Just blink when I get to a certain player.
There used to be days when I used to get a photograph of the team sheet, but those days are long gone.
We used to get a tickle. Well, I don't know. You probably still
tickle,
do. You keep it to yourself. Yeah, I used to get the team news ahead of announcement. But
I mean, it looks amazing. Like he actually does. It looks almost like as good as Mason Greenwood is in that position. Yeah. Mason Greenwood being a strike, you know what I mean? As a forward. So I'm not going to say he might save your season, but imagine if he is really good, comes into the team. That's what I'm getting at, and then suddenly it's like, wait a minute, because that's a massive issue for you, isn't it?
He's the player that I think some people, not everyone, thought Amrabat was going to be, and he isn't. And he hasn't been so far. I'm not giving up.
Amrabat's been bad, man, and it's so disappointing because I wonder, would you play both tomorrow, Amrabat and Mainoo? Because fuck me, does Scott hide when the ball's there to be had?
It's a weird one, McTominay, because on paper you've got all these goals, important goals, but I'm not hating on the kid.
He's got to play in Bruno's role then. Yeah. Switch him and Bruno around. Right. Bring Bruno back and put him in the crash bang wallop position.
Yeah, why not? Because I think you can not notice it in McTominay in midfield, and that's not a good thing.
I agree.
Like, that's the thing, where's he been for the last 20 minutes? I don't know. When you join the game, you'll be like, oh, hang on a minute.
You only seem to see him in the final third, if you know what I mean. You know what I mean? He's not like someone who sits in the field and controls it or whatever. The
new Fellaini. When he's in our box, liability. When he's in their box, fucking liability.
His goal speed, he can get goals. So, like you're saying, stay moving up there. That makes more sense to me if you're going to play him.
Yeah, I think he's a good sub to have, and he's McTominay. You know what I mean? An all right sub.
I will ask you this as well. Are you concerned about Amrabat? Because it's only been a short bounce of time, but he's not really...
He was injured in pre-season, so I don't think he's had a pre-season. I think that's a massive factor, but based on what I've seen from him right now, I'd definitely been looking through the clauses in that kind of agreement.
Well, there's already talk of that,
we have to have a what is it? If we've already agreed to buy him or not, I'll be like, 30 days.
Small print here says we don't have to...
Correct me if I'm wrong, though. Since Ferguson left, United have not bought an amazing central midfielder. Wouldn't it be interesting to see what your team would be like?
Morgan Schneidlin.
There you go. It'd be interesting to see what your team would be like if you actually had someone who's brilliant in that position. Because you never had
Paul.
Yeah, exactly.
Go on, you can do it.
The last one you bought,
Bastian Schweinsteiger was a World Cup winner, Jamie. Right?
The last one you bought.
What could go wrong?
The last one you bought rather than brought through.
Fellaini.
It's for Carrick, right? The last really good one that you actually bought.
Are we not?
Right, if that's the bar, no one's bought.
Are you not counting Bruno Fernandes in this?
Where's he not more on number 10?
Yeah.
Okay, I thought I'm
not
clarifying. I get your point. I mean, our signings in general have been awful. So it's not just we don't just focus. It's not just midfield. You can probably go across the board.
Do you reckon
any position you want?
If you'd have got one of those like octopus or something that they used to predict the World Cup, you'd have done better signings than we've actually managed the last 10 years.
I think it's an art form how much money we've wasted. Like we have gone. We bought players for 80 million.
It's Turner Prize level art.
Who've been rubbish.
It is art. Like the fact that we go to negotiations and someone goes 80 million and we go 30 million. Yeah. And they go, we'll see you in 4 months with the full 80 million. And we go,
story, right? You know the Anthony story? The word was, from the club, no way are we paying any more than 60 million. This is at the start of summer, what are they paying 80 million?
Mate, it's like the Maguire one. Like, you're on about like the Maguire one. It was like they wanted 80 million, let's wait 80 million, we're not having it. And then at the end of it, after 2 weeks, they walk away with 80 million plus 5 million add-ons.
Remember, he's one of the players that Mourinho threw his rattle out the pram about because they refused to sign him the season, but the summer before.
For 40 or 50 million. So we'll just wait a season, he does all right, and then we'll pay 80 million for him. I mean, it is unbelievable how much money we've wasted because we have spent a lot. And I know the Glazers are an issue and all the rest of it. I'm not saying they're not, but some of the money we've spent and wasted.
Well, if we were just smarter with some of our buys. Look, Casado and Haaland. There's £200 million worth of talent that you might have got for 35, 40. When Solskjaer went, can I have them too? And we went, no. Here's a Ronaldo that you didn't know you were getting. A Sancho that I think the club wanted more than he wanted. Here's Varane, which on paper is amazing, but it's a Real Madrid player near 30. And who else did he sign?
I think that summer, that was it.
There's one more.
What was that?
Well, they got Maguire, didn't he?
No, Varane. It was Varane, Sancho, and Ronaldo in his last.
Was it not and Tommy?
Might be a defender or something.
Tommy.
But I mean, Haaland would have been 20 million. Haaland would have been 20
Tommy Eaton,
million.
factually, the best of them signings.
We'll not have any Tommy Eaton slander on this channel. Trust me.
What?
Tommy Eaton was a great. No, he was a great signing. Do you know what I mean? We love Tommy Eaton for a multitude of reasons. But it's like in a way, every signing at the time kind of makes sense. You go Pogba makes sense because been at United, been at Juve.
Oh, Pogba was good. He just weren't great.
Weren't great. You go Lukaku made sense. Just scored
Again,
18
was
league
good.
goals or something. Do you know what
year.
I mean? Like you look at him, you go, okay, that's not the most bizarre. You might go Maguire 80 million was a bit of a funny one, but
I thought you'd overpaid for him and Wan-Bissaka, probably by 30 and 20 million.
But even that signing wasn't ludicrous because it was like Pep wanted him. He'd had a very good season at Leicester or two.
How fucking long would he have lasted in City's defence, by the way?
Oh, do you know what? He'd probably gone there and been like Akanji. He was all right before he got to City. Now it was like amazing.
This was the thing I was going to throw in there, right? Is it not? But listen, is it not a combination of maybe, let's say, mediocre signings who any of the managers who've been better, like a Pep, might have made really good? So it's a combination of like middling signings with coaches or managers who aren't that great. So
I think as well for
that's
that.
my theory on it.
I don't even think it's just signings. I think someone like Marcus Rashford, for example, who I love, and I think he's a mint player, would be even better if he'd have had the same manager all the time he's been here, and someone who actually bothered to help him and coach him, rather than just you're on the right, you're on the left, you're coming off, you're starting, you're down the middle, you're injured, you're playing. Like,
I want you to come at feet, I want you to go in behind. Constant changing of philosophies doesn't help.
No.
I heard a story, you might have heard it as well, that Wan-Bissaka, that they had to get like a coach in to sort of help him with his crosses.
Like
he looks good at the minute though. Yeah. This is what does my fucking nutting. I don't think players work hard enough, and we were talking about this earlier on XG Files. Like, how many fucking coaches, how many players go and get one-to-one coaching? It's a joke. None of them should have jobs as far as I'm concerned. They should all be just employed by United. You go do your tactical training, you get your video analysis, and I'll see you out on the pitch with the ball with your one-to-one coach. Makes sense. Yeah. Why are you not doing that?
It's weird, isn't it? Because like you're saying, you know, we've heard of it. We've had Ryan Opera on who's coached like Bruno and players like that when they've gone in for extra coaching, and there's some players that made the effort. It's like Steve saying, you think the players are so important to United. Why not get the best out of them?
Ball attributes have gone through the fucking roof in the last 18 or so months.
It's like anything, innit? How do you get good at anything, like really good? You just do it all the time. Just practice.
When you're
all the time.
16, 17 and below, half of your time in the academy is working on those one-to-one individual skills, because the pressure isn't there for you to win a game. So they're developing you as a player. The second you get your pro contract, they go, listen, fuckface, you pay to win, go fucking win, and here's how the team's going to win. And no one's got any time for you to do your one-to-ones. They're like, no, this is what you need. This is where you are on set plays. Shut the fuck up. And that's all you get. So you don't get any of that time to continue developing as a player.
It's like when we had Rene on, you know, when Merlinstein, and he came on, he spoke about like coaching Ronaldo. Coaching him, like on a one-to-one.
But Ronaldo was somebody who wanted to get better all the time. That's the point,
the greatest
so
player of all time.
Exactly.
But you're coaching him.
Exactly.
Yeah, but that didn't work, did it?
No, to be fair, I mean, he didn't fuck all. And then he went.
What was he? Oh, let me teach you how to score goals. Well, did it work?
Yeah,
how many
have my money back? Hey, bloody hell.
About 800 and something.
Yeah, pathetic.
Is that
it? So it's just, it's a bit of a weird one. But Mainoo, you liking what you see?
Yeah, I'm loving what I see. I love seeing any young player come through, whichever club. But he's exciting, and as I say, imagine if he's really good, and suddenly it's like, wait a minute, you've solved that problem, because that is a massive issue.
He was mega on tour. We all sort of started dreaming that it wasn't just us being on tour, and then he's delivered it again, and we've had this like 6-month period of hope that a fucking kid who's not even made a debut is actually like a Casemiro level player. And he kind of come in and went, is that it?
Yeah, I know.
Was this it, Premier League?
Some players,
I've forgotten how good he was.
Some players are just better. Yeah. Than, so you've got like your level that you think, okay, they could, but some are just like.
Well, he was.
I think he's one of them, maybe.
He was ahead of his years when he had the academy, because wasn't he in like the under-18s when he was 16?
Yeah.
Not Ravel, Morrison, Angel, Gomez levels, like 13.
No, but he was in he was 15, 16. And
I think they all are. Anyone who ends up making first teams usually a year or two.
Yeah, because I remember when we went to watch the FA Youth Cup, he was like Charlie McNeil and everyone. He's like 18 and he was like 16. I think of that first team, he was the youngest. Yeah. You could see even then he just looked.
It's the composure, mate. The composure makes no sense.
Yeah.
The composure makes no sense. How are you playing with experience on your debut?
I know, as if he's been there. No, definitely.
It was mad as well, because he kept saying this when we was watching it. You felt relieved when he got the ball. Like, honestly, and I'm not exaggerating.
Yeah.
Oh, thank God the kid's got it.
Yeah, it was. Like, somebody's got it, or Bruno, you're like, oh, okay, because they were a bit nervous. He got it like, sorry, it's Mainoo. Like,
Think about that. Think of the atmosphere at Goodison Park on Saturday, and
Yeah, definitely.
he's stopping the ball in his own box and just going.
No, before when you asked, have you ever seen him run? Is that because you think he's very composed and he's not running around? Is that what you meant when
he doesn't run. That's
Is that
what I mean.
Yeah.
You don't see young players. You see them cutting about the gaff, don't you?
Yeah.
It's all energy,
Yeah,
work rate,
yeah.
and fucking let me show that I can compete.
Yeah.
And he just went doing that shit.
Yeah.
He's like just Berbatoving it around the pitch
Yeah.
with a flawless touch, with composure. Like it's alien, man.
Yeah.
It's alien.
Yeah, it
Like
is, isn't it?
youth players don't come with that. Like every decision he makes, the ball comes into him. His release is always early or perfect. Like he lets it go, he lends it, he gets it back, he sends. Like
It's that decision. You know, it reminds me of the decision making, like Rooney when he was a kid, because he was like a fully formed player.
Rooney's was still a
he never
lot
gave
of
it away
flair,
though.
yeah.
No, but he had that, but he never gave it. He was always the right decision at like 17. You're like, wow, wise.
Yeah. It's hard not to get carried away. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like, I know it's
sure,
only
if you're
been
a fan,
like,
yeah.
whatever.
I can't think who he reminds me of.
Like,
Himself. That's what I was saying just the other day. Maybe he's going to have his own. You know, like Makelele had his own thing. Maybe he's going to have his own thing. It's like he's a
That's it,
one.
because
Proper
I see
one-off.
a lot of people saying Seedorf, but Seedorf was more physical.
Yeah.
Like Seedorf was a lot more physical, and a lot of people are remembering probably 35-year-old
Yeah.
Seedorf. And
No,
thinking,
I remember he was younger.
going collecting it. Yeah, I mean, he was the Ajax '95 side, wasn't he?
Yeah.
But he played like a young Gerrard almost. Like he was energy. He was everywhere.
Yeah.
He was box to box. Whereas Mainoo ain't that.
Yeah.
Like he's closer to a Carrick. Sort of composed, very calm, great vision, brilliant sort of fucking. I can't think who like.
It's mad as well, isn't it? How you can see already his teammates completely trust him and almost like
Look for him.
Like leave him to it, sort of thing. It's not like, well, what are you doing, son? Move out of the way.
He's from Stockport, isn't he?
Yeah,
I love the
that
fact
one-
he's from
that-
Stockport.
he's not a
come
City
on,
fan, is he?
there's not all City there.
I don't know.
Well, we need to find out.
He can't be.
He is from Stockport.
He is from Stockport.
Yeah, that's what I mean, though. That is one area that is blue, unfortunately.
It is one where you have to check.
Yeah, it's like SK. When you start hearing the SK postcode.
I'm SK12 where I live.
Well, do you see?
But I'm not a City fan.
No, I know. But you might see a few though.
No, there is quite a few around.
Exactly, it's the way it is. It will change when City get relegated and Stockport keep coming up. Joe C says Kobe equals Schweinsteiger. Uncanny.
No, Schweinsteiger was started off as attacking.
Yeah.
Again, older Schweinsteiger, yes, came and did what. Yeah. That's what I'm saying is nobody at 18 did this. A lot of people did this, but they.
It's almost like Tony Cruz is now.
Yeah,
now you know
but
what I mean.
Tony Cruz again, he was like an 8/10 early goals.
Someone's saying
Schweinsteiger was.
Mazza Chronel says his football IQ is like Pirlo. Yeah, but Pirlo was probably at his best when he was 30 odd.
Yeah. Pirlo was like a number 10, a little bit, one of them.
It wasn't like when he got a bit on a bit, when everyone started noticing
Bellingham
Pirlo.
in the Euros, isn't it?
Yeah.
Next summer.
Yeah, not bad, eh?
That's decent, that, isn't it?
Here's the thing is, you often get this with a young 18-year-old, like a Rooney. They come through and they've got like a physical X factor about them.
Yeah.
Mainoo looks quite ordinary.
I hear what you're saying, yeah.
Doesn't he?
Yeah.
Like,
I know what you mean,
if you try to describe him, well, what does he do? Is he like got a sick dribble? Not really.
Yeah.
Is he like dead quick? I don't actually know if he's quick. What, is he massive? Has he got a shot on him? I don't think I've ever seen him shoot, actually. Like, has he got a big tackle?
Yeah.
Nah, I've never seen him really fucking tackle. Like, and you're like, right, what does he do then? You're like, everything else, mint. Like,
it's like reading of the game isn't someone you always go. That you
I'll
look
give you a very
for,
quick
but
analogy to what you just said. Right, when Andy Murray was starting off tennis, right, he won like the junior US Open, right, as a 16-year-old. So I went to cover him in a tournament in Belgium when he was about 17, 18, and he was winning these games of tennis, and I couldn't quite work out how he was doing it because he didn't have a big serve, didn't have an amazing backhand or whatever it was, but he just knew what to do.
Yeah.
Do you know, and it was really. You know what I mean? I'm there sort of thinking, how am I going to describe it? And it's sort of that, basically, that's what...
Cantona was the same. Was he dribble? No. Was he like prolific? Not really. Quick? Yeah, he was pretty quick, but
not rapid.
Not Tony Daly.
No. Nice.
Oh, yeah.
Nicely done.
That beats my milk.
I think, this is Turbo 80s here, guys.
You think, so what was he good at? And you're like, just fucking got it, mate. Just intelligence.
Just got it,
like aura. That's like...
But Cantona was 27.
Yeah.
This is a fucking child.
Yeah.
It is mad. It's so good as well. And I'm sorry.
He looked great again, didn't he, when he came on against
Yeah.
Literally, it's amazing.
He basically went, I'll defend you, like crack on.
Yeah, that's it, and it did, didn't it? Yeah. It's like, right, go on, don't worry about it, just leave it to me. Get out my way.
Imagine when he grows into his frame, imagine when he gets some experience.
I'm scared. Brian Casey, who's been a member of the Academy for 10 months, says, you're trapped on an island, you're allowed 3 people with you, which must be a sports person, a musician, and someone from film. Who are you having?
Kelly Brook.
You Kelly Brook. That's like that film 3. Good film, that.
Hang on, who else? What is it? A sports person or what?
A sports person, a musician, and someone from film. So Kelly Brook would be your film star.
Is she not a sports person?
Oh yes, famously, won all them gold medals in gymnastics.
Right.
But no, she did a bit of cycling around town once as part of a campaign, but I wouldn't put her as a sports person.
Good niche info there.
I interviewed her for it. That's the only reason I know. Yeah, yeah, I did. That's how I know
for the
radio.
Yes.
Yeah.
Were you in your car that day, by any chance?
Yeah, my little smart car. Kate Beckinsale. I can see a theme here.
And
that's your film. So you've absolutely shoehorned Kelly Brook into sports person here, by the way. Kate Beckinsale's from you, someone for real, and a musician.
Shakira.
So you've gone for the intellectual type here.
Yeah, I just want good conversation.
Yeah,
just want good conversation.
Yeah, no, I hear that.
Is it a warm desert island?
If you want. Yeah, most of them are. It just says traps on an island, actually. I might have added the desert bit in. Jamie, who's your sports person, musician, and someone from film?
That's a really good question. Jackie Robinson, baseball player.
Oh, okay. There you go.
Bob Dylan, musician. What was it?
Film
star?
Yeah, film star.
I don't know. Charlie Chaplin.
Wow. I think we're getting so old with these references.
Are any of them alive?
Yeah. No. I think Charlie Chaplin died about 50 years ago.
Bob Dylan.
Charlie Chaplin didn't even barely make any talkies. That's how old he is. From the silent era, I'll take Buster Keaton. Then, shall I? Fatty Arbuckle's coming with me.
Fatty Arbuckle?
Yeah, I'll have, do you know what? I know I'm sober, but I'll have George Best as my sports person. Right. Just because the story, isn't it? Come on.
Jay, you're on a desert island.
All right, I'll have
George. I think you're allowed to get after it.
Yeah, that's it.
I fell off the wagon. Oh, what happened? I was on a desert island
with George. Yeah, with George Best. If we're going down that route, actually, I'll have George Best, Jimi Hendrix, and Peter O'Toole.
There you go. But your free beat.
We're just getting on it. If I'm going to go on this desert island, I'm just getting absolutely twisted.
One of us is an intellectual at this table.
Obviously. Just one other thing I wanted to ask you about, Jay, as well. You've written quite a little bit. Doesn't make any sense. You've written a bit about Rasmus Højlund. You seem to be a fan of his. Obviously not been scoring in the Premier League, but in the Champions League, banging him in, and also putting in performances. We're big fans of his.
You tell me what you think. But he doesn't seem to be getting loads of chances in the Premier League that he's missing all the time. He's like, I think I tweeted, he's living off like the scraps of scraps.
No,
you know what I mean? In the Premier League, it's just a joke. So if you then, he's kind of doing the same in the Champions League, but he's been putting them in. So I'd love to see him again with a functioning team, that was like proper, because I think he'd score a hatful. He looks like a good signing. Now, how many times, you just said about the signings, at the time they make sense, and then they've
fucking hell
proved.
We hope he's not going to be like that.
Yeah, we have to.
No, but in terms of the actual, the actual player.
No, I think he wasn't high profile enough to be a shit signing.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think like Rasmus Højlund, a year earlier, no one really knew much about him.
He looks fast, strong. Technically, he looks good, basically, in all the things you want.
He's got like the sort of attitude to press.
Yeah.
He'll be fine.
It's just a shame.
He's really lightning,
isn't he? He's not scored in the Premier League. Yeah, he's not. It's not the.
Did he not have a good goal chalked off? One of those bar things at your
place?
Mate, it
was like
Brighton, Rashford crossed or something, right?
We still need to talk about fucking Gabriel wrestling him, for fuck's sake.
Yeah, that was on his
yeah.
At the Emirates.
Yeah.
Where that should have been
was a penalty. Yeah.
And then you've won as a penalty, and we've probably won the game, or at least got a draw out of it. And everyone's,
Can you imagine the mood of the camp then? Totally different.
Oh, exactly. He's been hard done by, but you can see you don't score against Bayern Munich in Munich if you crap. You know what I mean? He's been banging in goals. I think he's a joint top scorer in the Champions League.
Yeah.
No, he was. I don't know if he is now.
He had 5. He's got 5, sorry. But I think it's the same. I don't forget anyone. But anyway,
yeah. So, yeah, I'm with you. I think Rasmus Højlund is a very good player for Manchester United, and I think he'll be even better. Just before we wrap up, Jay, United versus Newcastle, you're neutral-ish, even though you've got a soft spot for us because your son's a big red. He's part of the firm.
I hate to say this. I don't think... You never know what Manchester United's going to turn up. I think you're going to get turned over there. I don't mean like a big loss, but I think you'll lose.
I'll take a draw right now.
I think you'll lose like 2-1 or something, 2-0. I'm sorry to say.
Dude, if we get 90 minutes of Mainoo.
True.
Yeah.
We're
What are you
at
saying?
90 minutes of Mainoo.
I think we'll
Come
win.
on.
I think we'll win.
Of course.
Apparently,
Put it this way, he started one Premier League game, we won 3-0.
exactly, 100%, 3-0 record.
And a clean sheet.
And
He
a
keeps clean sheets as well.
Yeah, and we've Harry Maguire behind him, who's the clean sheet master of November, even though we're in December now. But what can go wrong? Sorry, I did say one final question. Do you think any of our nominees are going to win them awards? We've got, is it goal, save? I didn't even know that was a thing. What's next? Throw-in.
It would be typical for him to win save in a fucking month, and everyone, while in the midst of everyone panning him. Wouldn't it?
In the midst of getting sacked.
And by the way, if Garnacho's doesn't win goal of the month, Elise's was on for winning it for about 24 hours. But if Garnacho's doesn't win goal of the month,
it will do, won't it? Surely.
it should do.
Well,
should
what's going to beat that? No, I think they might both win it. Maguire and Ten Hag.
Yeah?
Yeah, I do.
Well, they, like you said, Garnacho's got to be a
That's a tap-in, surely.
Pardon the pun. Yeah, honestly.
Tap-in for goal of the month.
That's got to be.
Oh, yeah, is he also up as
Yeah,
well? I think
Garnacho.
he's going to win. That's
So Garnacho for his goal
They're
against
not going to give
Everton.
United a clean sweep. There's not.
It'd be hilarious.
Onana, it's a save against the kid from Luton whose name escapes me. And then obviously Ten Hag. But Maguire's got a 100% record in November. None of the others have.
Exactly.
Like Doku and Sterling and whoever.
You've got to recognise
they've dropped
class.
points.
I think Doku's got a shout.
Yeah, because when he was good, he's been unreal, hasn't he? But it'd be just so funny. It'd be so good. Because the thing is, it doesn't really matter. It just boils piss. People get infuriated by the fact that some award they don't
Moyes
care
had
about.
more manager of the months than Mourinho.
Well, there you go.
Mourinho had more Premier League titles than manager of the months at one point.
How? In that first season alone, he should have been manager of the month every month. They were just winning every game.
Ferguson didn't have loads, to be
I
honest.
think Wenger might have had more than Ferguson.
I think he only had about 4 or 5,
insane.
maybe. Because he was there, however long.
Well, that's mental.
The last one he got, I remember looking at this, was in I think the January you won it the last time, but there was a gap between that and it was a long time.
Between when we only won like 4 titles during that time, but you know what I mean.
Never won manager of the month.
It's just ridiculous, but it doesn't count unless we win it. Then I'm bothered. What are you up to this weekend? What's going down in the
I think the
Stretford Paddock
game has
FC?
just been called off.
Because there's snow and that, or frost, I should say.
Yeah, it's like -4 in it. So.
That's the elite management game, isn't it, Steve? You know what I mean? You've got to roll with the punches.
Who was you going to be
I
playing?
had no defence tomorrow anyway, so
How did you know? Oh,
we still play, but wouldn't have been very confident.
mate, you'll be all right. How are you getting on in the league at the minute?
I think we'll win the league.
Oh, okay, good. We'll keep you
Got
posted.
fucking bombed out of the cup last week, didn't we?
Yeah, I know. Focus on the league, though, innit? That's what matters. No one cares about the cup. What's the actual name of the cup?
Manchester Amateur Cup.
There you go, you say. Go and check out Stretford Paddock FC. Go and check out him and Ronaldo Brown
Two of
on
the cup,
XG
one
files.
of them is the Northern Cup, which is like a Champions League.
Is the
It's
Manchester
all
County
the
Cup still a
different-
thing?
That's it. That's
Oh,
what
is,
we've got
oh, right, sorry.
So it's all of the
remember that
all
when I
of the
was a kid.
leagues from fucking like West Lancashire, Cumbria, fucking Yorkshire, everything. It's all of them is the Northern Cup. So I want to win that because that'd be mega.
I can see that kicking off.
I
quite
just
a lot.
want an away day in Newcastle or something. Just fucking a win appeasement. One of them.
Nice little segue there. Anyway, we'll be here for the Newcastle game as well on Saturday. I think it's going to be me, Joe Smith, and McCall. We'll get a reaction from him as well. Jay, people can find you on The Guardian. You're going to be covering the game. You're going to be down at St James's tomorrow?
I won't be there. I'll be at City Spurs.
God.
I knew you were going to say that when I said
Pathetic.
Sunday.
Are you covering them pair of losers for? No one cares about City and Spurs.
4-0 City. Mate.
A month ago, it'd have been an interesting game, but now
Yeah.
it's sort of like...
What do you think is going on with Postecoglou there? If he loses that one, isn't that like 4 losses on the spin?
Well, I'm
Nope,
wondering.
5.
I'm wondering how.
Me and Asher got a bet that. I reckon he gets to 0-7.
I'm wondering how long this sort of breezy sort of,
I play the way I like, mate. That way stint, doesn't it, when you're 8 defeats on the spin?
No, with the fans might sort of think,
Yeah.
you know what, just
It's
get
all
a
right
little
when you're
more
winning.
through.
So he goes 0-5 against City. I think next might be Chelsea.
Well, United have got Chelsea, haven't they?
Right,
But
so
they
it's not there.
He has got some games
He's
coming
got
up.
West Ham, Newcastle. What's the other one? No, it might be just West Ham, Newcastle, City. So he's already 0-3. City makes it 0-4. No, 0-5.
Yeah,
And then-
he's got Newcastle, and then he's got your former team, Forest away, which is a tricky one to be fair.
What about-
Forest
what
away.
about-
No, it's Forest. Sorry, West
What about
Ham.
your run
West
at the
Ham,
moment? You've
Newcastle.
got Newcastle, Chelsea, Liverpool or something.
Yeah, we're fucked, Jay. We're fucked.
This is as good as it gets. This is why we're revelling in it now. We're up for nominees of all these awards. We're on this run. We're the most informed team in the league. It's all going mint.
However, if we pull out like more wins than losses and draws by like the next month, we are in a nice spot. We've got to be, looking at who we've played. I look at that Liverpool team at the minute now and I think they absolutely dunk all over us.
I unfortunately agree. Colin Felix says, should have got Rice instead of Onana and Mount and kept De Gea. Don't
Definitely.
agree.
I've been saying that for about 4
No.
years.
Really?
Definitely, yeah.
About
You
the
need a
rice,
central
I wouldn't
midfielder.
have kept De Gea personally. But
Not better than
No, I
me.
just meant the Rice thing. I didn't
Yeah.
You need Rice.
We're going to wrap it up there. You know where to find James Jackson at The Guardian's link in the description. You know where to find Stephen Alson on Stephen Alson TV, chatting Wibble with Ronaldo Brown for XG Files. Go and check that out. And on Stretford Paddock FC. And you know where to find me. I'll be back for the watch long. Also, the preview's up first thing in the morning. That's been Jamie Jackson from The Guardian. That's been Stephen Alson. I've been Jay Marty. This has been The Brew. Thanks for watching.